Hello again. This video is we are moving to another learning objective. When we are discussing about the money, the question arises that how banks create money. Actually, some freshman students always think that the bank is the money is being created by the central bank, but as you will notice soon, that this is not true. The bank, the commercial banks, the bulk of the M1 or M2 is being created through the commercial banks. Commercial banks with the ability to give the loan, they are creating a lot of money, much more than the initially printed money by the central banks as the legal tender. Okay, so for understanding that, we should actually flash back a little bit to the history and understand where the story started. So this is a historical perspective of the banking sector, or the fractional reserve system, I would say. Fractional reserve system. Story goes back to the medieval age of the Europe, and this was in 15th century, 16th century, where most of them were also with Jewish backgrounds. Actually, most these banks, the Western banks, bankers like Rothschild dynasty or JP Morgan dynasty or Rockefellers, you name it, they are, I mean, Rockefeller was not Jewish, but even Anglican, but majority of the bankers in Europe of medieval age in 15th or 16th century had the Jewish descent. But that's not important. Let's see how it happened. It was gold standard in the beginning. It was gold standard. Gold standard. Or some countries silver standard. Silver standards. For example, Real was a silver money, whereas the British pound was a gold money. So depending on the countries, they were having, like, Real was the currency in Iran and many other countries, Islamic countries, and also the Brazil and Portuguese were using the real. The lira, the Ottoman Empire had its lira, which was some association with the British pound or pound sterling. They were gold standard, so it was fixed with the gold or silver. Sometimes we had two currency system, silver and gold together, silver plus gold. And there was this guy who first realized that gold is a good money and silver is a bad money. And surprise, surprise, the gold was going out of the market. So bad money were kicking the good money out of the circulation, because the gold is better for store of value, and the silver is better for medium of exchange. So the guy who first discovered this, his name was Gresham, and this is called as the Gresham law, that bad money eliminates the good money out of circulation. So people prefer to hold gold as the store of value and silver as, and if you have bronze, three metal system, this quickly finds to become a medium of exchange. And this is the best candidate for store of value. So here we have, as long as we have a good parity between silver and bronze and gold, or silver and gold, the system will work perfectly, because there are more bronze in the circulation. Actually, the transaction are doing much easier. But ultimately, those who wants to save, they will convert their bronze into the gold and keep it in their cash vault. Okay. So in this precious metal system, precious metal system, it wasn't fractional system or fractional reserve system. The precious metal was 100% worth of money. In the gold standard is indirect gold standard, So every dollar, actually $37 was equivalent of 1 ounce of gold up until 1971. So this is vanished. So in this system, the Goldsmiths became famous because carrying gold is hard to carry, and subject to theft also. So there is a risk of holding gold. It keeps its value much better than the other commodities. And the Goldsmiths, this is the era of commodity money. So you pick up one commodity and everything else is being measured according to that, even the silver with gold, even the bronze with gold, etc. So people began to place their gold with goldsmiths for safekeeping. So if they want to travel, the goldsmiths has branches in other cities. They said, okay, give me your gold and I give you a paper, a receipt, and then you can basically, whenever you come to this shop or any other branch of mine in another city, I will give you exactly the same amount of gold. So the service was given, and the receipts were backed with 100%. So if you are giving like $100, equivalent of $100 was the gold standard of Bretton Woods system, also was the same, 100% backed with the gold. Oops, what happened? Goldsmith found that people did not come often to withdraw the gold. So they notice that they have plenty of gold in the box. So this is the gold, okay, in their assets. And in the liabilities, they write Ali, this much. This is like a deposits, okay, deposits, liabilities as deposits. But because the deposit has increased, immediately the gold, they keep it in the cash vault, is also increasing. So their asset, a big chunk of their assets were people's deposits. But if Ali puts here 100 and Mohsen put $200 and gold, you name it, and let's say the total amount of liabilities is the total liabilities is equal 500. So here was 500. So that's total sum of this. It's 1 to 1, 1 to 1. Because if Ali comes and withdraw its money, taking it out, so this is going down by minus 100, and this is going by minus 100, so it becomes 400, and both sides again is balance. If something you subtract from the left side and right side, it's remaining the balance, and that's the beauty of the balance sheet. We already told you that the balance sheet is asset, liability plus equity. So if something goes up here, here goes up. If something goes down here, this is also going down. So the total asset may go up and down, because any action in one side, there is a reaction on the other side, vice versa. They realized that people won't come, so they started using other people's money as their own asset and give the loan. One person was coming and saying that I want to borrow from you $100 worth of gold. So he was giving him gold and was adding here as their $100, and then he was adding another person, let's say Zainab, borrowed 100. So this side is increased, this side is also increased, so again their assets is increasing. So they realize that they can actually do a lot of things. If they, by practice, they know only 10% of them they're coming, they can use 90% to give the loan to the others. And here is a problem, that this loan becomes virtual money. Zainab's money is virtual, because if suddenly all of the people come and say, give us our money back, the original depositors, there won't be enough money here. There won't be enough money, because he has given the money to someone else and it's gone out. So especially if they give too much excessive loans, then if run on bank happens, the reputation of the Goldsmiths would subject to that he will keep a good balance between the amount he will keep, a fraction he will keep, and a fraction he will give in loan. And if people realize that, oh, he has given actually only 1% of the money is there, 99% is he has generated from others people's money, loan to others, and it's considered as its own asset. Therefore, if they realize that if the reserves has reduced to $1, and he has given the total was 499 loan. Still is balance. But if Mohsen comes and says, gives my money, there is no money there. There's no money there. The run on the bank, even in the modern banking system, exist. So if all of us, all citizens of Oman, go to the bank and say, give my demand deposit, the banks will collapse, because there is not much equal amount of money there. So that is the phenomena of run on a bank. They practically realize that not everyone comes to withdraw the money, so people simply exchange their money with the receipts. And actually the receipt, they didn't even give the gold out. They were creating a receipt that if you bring this receipt back to me, I will give you. And they were exchanging in the streets with the receipts, because receipts becomes anonymous. Initially was by name and then became anonymous, or in the back somebody signs and says that the holder of this can take the money from you. And the goldsmith was matching the signature and was giving the money to go. So this is how the paper money was created in the medieval age. And without adding any more gold to the system, the goldsmiths increased the amount of money in circulation, so that papers, which was considered as the receipt, and they can go and make it gold, because paper is easier to be carried. The paper money was created like this, and this is actually the legal tender, which later was backed by the governments. So in normal times, goldsmiths were safe, but once people started to doubt the safety of the goldsmiths, they would be foolish not to demand their gold back from the vault. So this is the phenomena which I called it run on a bank. So this occurs when many of those who have claims on a bank or deposits present them to at the same time. So run on a bank is anytime happens, like in 2008 financial crisis, this actually took place, that everyone was queuing to take their money out of the bank, because the number of the banks had created a lot of debt. So the first come, the first serve. The incident in Cyprus, in Iceland, this happened. So this is a historical story of how the money is created. But in order to understand it again, you have to do a little bit of balance sheet understanding. So how the balance sheet creates money out of nothing. So the goldsmiths actually create money out of a thin air. If they have enough deposit, and if they have a good estimation of what fraction of the money to be kept as their reserve and what fraction they can give the loan, and that is creating plenty of money supply into the society, and the economy actually flourish in this way. So to understand that, we need to get back to our balance sheet identity, and then starting from there. So Federal Reserves have their balance sheet, the individuals have their balance sheet, and the banks have their balance sheet. So let me stop it here, and from here after I will explain how the banking sector creates money with a simple model and more sophisticated model. Thank you.